Hey everyone. So it is September 11th. It probably doesn't mean anything to some people, and it probably means a lot to others. Every single one of us in the United States, those that actually have a heart, those that actually care, we all have our story of where we were September 11th, 2001. Mine is a story that I will never forget. The same as I will never forget what happened to our World Trade Center here in New York. Now, most of you know that I am a published writer. Um, I got my 27th book published. I believe it was last month. I got my 27th book published. But back then, I was just writing little short stories, little novellas in middle school and high school. And I always dreamed of, by writing, going somewhere. My mom, she's the one that got me to start writing. It was back when I was like 12 or 13 years old. I had summer school. And one day my mom just saw me sitting on the porch, which I don't know why I was sitting on the porch. I'm a nature child. I was usually hanging in the woods. And she had handed me a black and white marble composition book that she got from an odds and ends for like 39 cents. And she handed me a pencil. She said, "Do something with this." And I'm thinking, what do you want me to do with this? So I sat down on our front porch, and I just started writing. And from then I didn't stop. I didn't stop writing. I just constantly had a notebook in my hand, a pen or a pencil in my hand. So my mom always wanted to see my name in print. And unfortunately, she passed away in 2004. So that gave me more of a challenge. I wanted my mom to see my name in print, whether she's here on earth with me or not. So I had written a novella, and a novella is a short book. Your novels are the thicker ones, your novellas are the thinner ones. And I was so proud of this book. So what I did is I did my research, and I checked in New York City to see if I could find a publisher or anybody that I could talk to. What I did is I set up to get a couple days off from work so I could go down to New York City. And like I said, I don't live in New York City, okay? For all you that think because I say I live in New York, I don't live in New York City. So I got it set up, and I needed to go to the bank to turn cash into traveler's checks because I didn't do the whole debit card thing. And I did not want to carry cash to New York City. I was going to be driving to New York City. I don't like public transportation. I didn't like it back then either. So I got everything set up and whatnot. I had the money for where I would have to stay. I would stay while I was in New York City. I had the money for if I wanted to buy anything when I was in New York City. I had money for gas while I'm in New York City, because New York City's not that far from me. Well, anyways, September 10th, I got in my car with my bank papers and everything so I could go to the bank. And I was driving down the road. Still lived at my parents' house because I was 20 at the time. I was still living at home. And I was heading down the road, and I live out in the country, live in the middle of nowhere. And I got over the railroad tracks, and I kept going. And then all of a sudden, flames bursted out under my hood. Talk about scary. So I swerved my car into a ditch. And when I say ditch, it's not one like this. It was more of a little slope, so I'd be able to get my car out. Put my car there. I got out of my car, ran to the other side of the road while my hood is like on fire. And that's why you should carry a fire extinguisher with you for cars. I stood there, watched my car, and I'm like, oh my God, this could not be happening to me. When the flames went down, walked across the street, and, I looked at everything, and I'm being cautious while I'm being by this vehicle. And then I said, you know what? I got to get this car out of here. And I didn't have a cell phone on me. That wasn't my thing. I didn't have a cell phone. So I walked down the road, got my dad. He couldn't find his tow strap to tow my car out. So when we came back to my car, my dad got behind my car with his truck. I was behind the wheel, and I was steering everything. So my dad kind of bumper carred me back home. Well, anyways, come to find out, my engine seized up in my car. It bursted into flames. My engine was shot. So that canceled my trip to New York City. And I wanted to be there on September 11th. I was supposed to be there. And the first thing I wanted to see was the World Trade Center, because that was something I always wanted to see when I got to New York City. And then I'd go and see the Statue of Liberty. So I got a hold of my boss. I was a preschool teacher at the time. I got a hold of the lady in charge of the church school. And I asked her, I explained the situation to her, what had happened to my car, and I asked her if I was able to cancel my days off and go back into my class. And she said, that's fine, because we only have the teacher's assistant running your class. So I'm like, great. I can get back in the classroom, I can get paid, and figure out how I'm going to fix this car. So I went to work the next day. Luckily, there was a spare vehicle that I could use. And I was sitting in my class. I'm with the little preschoolers and everything. And class hadn't started yet because everybody was still arriving because of how early it was in the morning. We didn't really start class until like 9 o'clock. While I was sitting in the classroom with the preschoolers, the woman in charge of the school came into my classroom and said, I need all teachers to come to my office. So we had assistants keeping an eye on our class. When we had gotten into her office, that is when we saw the second plane hit the Twin Towers. I'm standing there, and all eyes turned to me. And I'm thinking, why is everybody staring at me? They were staring at me because I should have been in New York City at that time. I should have been there. But I'm not. I was not there. Something stopped me from getting there. So my car doing what it did actually saved my life. It kept me away from New York City. That incident saved my life. And that is my story for September 11th. How my engine burst into flames saved me from what happened in New York City. And that's a story that I will be telling everybody until the day I'm gone. So that's my story of my September 11th.